The driving force to help our team get from point A to point B to help better serve our customer is our fleet. So as we talked about in the introduction, really the driving force to get our company or team members from point A to point B is our fleet. And I've got a wonderful friend of mine, Robin Abbe. She is our corporate manager for our fleet. Robin, thank you for joining us to talk about this subject today.
Thank you for having me.
So before we get straight into that, I'd love if you would share a little bit about your journey with Tempo.
So I started with Tempo in 2011. So I was an install coordinator, and then I went to customer service. And then I became a customer service supervisor and led the team for a couple of years. And then I moved over to fleet in 2020, I believe.
Yeah, so about four or so years?
4 years ago in fleet.
Well, so I know that every partner's path at Tempo really is kind of how they want to drive it, right? And finding out that you've got a knack, in my opinion, that's really good for managing fleet and fleet operations. I think what helps drive you with success on that is how organized you are and how you're taking all of what you do almost on a personal level. And when we talk about fleet, there's so much more deeper than that goes, because and I want you to talk a little bit more about that, but it's the safety and everything else that we do.
Yes.
So if you would kind of explain a little bit about your daily functions and kind of daily duties of what you do to help us.
So at the end of the day, my priority is making sure that all of our partners get home safe. So with saying that, we have to make sure we have safe and reliable vehicles on the road, which consists of having our maintenance done. We do require maintenance every 5,000 miles. And then we also have tire rotations, tire checks every 7,000 miles. And then in addition to that, we have Tony, who is our job site and safety inspector. He actually inspects every single one of our company vehicles in person, from underneath the hood to checking the tires, to checking the inside, the interior, for any type of issues or any type of recalls. We also have a recall system that we verify to make sure our trucks all recalls have been taken care of. But yeah, it's a lot of moving parts when it comes to managing a fleet.
Yeah, so what you said at the very beginning resonated with me, and as you kind of went through it, it really helped tell the story, right? So it's getting everyone home safe. And really the reality of that is if you do not have a dependable vehicle, I'm not going to say it's impossible to do that, but that makes it that much more difficult.
Makes it a little bit more difficult.
And knowing how big our Metroplex is to serving the DFW, you're also doing it for US-EcoLogic, which our multifamily group is all over the nation.
Correct.
So creating that same level of dependability, it's a big task. And although you teed it up really well, there's a lot of moving parts there.
Moving parts.
So if you would, specifically, tell me a little bit about the cameras that we added, because I know that was a huge momentum shift for our team and
Yes.
how to get things a little bit easier for them and us.
So we installed, Samsara is our GPS provider and our camera system provider. We installed those 2 years ago, and that was just phenomenal. I mean, the process, we ended up having all of our vehicles equipped with the GPS and the camera systems, from Florida to Colorado to Dallas to Austin, Houston. But we managed to get it all done. And just the camera system in the vehicle ensures that our drivers are safe and courteous and professional drivers as well. And it also helps us eliminate any type of at-fault or non-at-fault accidents.
Yeah, so it essentially gives, it gives coaching tips for the driver, right?
Correct.
So it's got a camera that faces inside the cab and outside the cab. We've also found where break-ins for vehicles, we're able to identify some characteristics or some things there as well. So, just managing a fleet of this size, how big is the fleet?
Currently, we have 166 vehicles.
Wow, that's impressive. So one could say that at any given time we've got 166 vehicles on the road.
Correct.
That is incredible when you think about it.
And with our mechanical team and our service team, we run after-hour calls. So I mean, we've got drivers on the road at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah. So that camera system, although it was kind of shocking, and I remember the weeks leading up to rolling it out and then rolling it out, it was met with this seems a little bit weird, but really to be able to have, I would say, any level of management, adding that was big.
Yes, it was really big, and our drivers, they were very hesitant at the very beginning, but now that they have had the cameras in their trucks, they appreciate them.
Yeah.
Because we've had a lot of incidents that could have went against us, but with the cameras, it actually helped.
Yep.
And it proved that we were not at fault.
Yeah, a big deal, and really it gives an added layer of safety.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about now with the vehicles themselves. We've got, and you talked about maintenance. You did go over the maintenance on what that is, but with the amount of miles that we're driving every single day, how often do those vehicles typically rotate for maintenance?
We try to rotate them every 5,000 miles for maintenance. We do like to go to the dealership to get all the preventative stuff done at least twice a year. Mm-hmm. So we do take a lot of our trucks off the road, but we do have spare trucks that we put our drivers in while they are getting maintained.
Okay. And I'm assuming when I say that, it's all tracked in that software?
Yes. Our Samsara system does track for any type of maintenance that needs to be done, and then we schedule it with our dispatchers for the drivers that need to have their service done.
So with the vehicles themselves, how long can a vehicle typically last for a group?
So what we are trying to do is we are trying to rotate them out at least every 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
Because we get more value if we get rid of them prior to 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
If we keep them until 150, 200,000, then we definitely lose the depreciation of the value.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So managing 166 plus vehicles, which we're going to continue to grow, rotating through a lease program, and then a selling after a certain milestone.
Correct.
We've also got a few other things when there is to think about. It's buying vehicles. We did see like every other business did, when you've got supply chain issues, getting vehicles is tough sometimes. It's a very competitive marketplace for everything, and vehicles are no different. So walk me through a little bit, if you would, about the buying process.
So what I typically do is twice a year I will send a current list to our division leaders of their existing fleet, and then I provide recommendations on the condition of the vehicle, how much money we've spent on repairs, maintenance, and then what their additional needs are for their forecast. And then I will contact our leasing company and let them know exactly what it is that we're looking for, and then they get them to us. They typically will come unwrapped, but most of the times they will come already upfitted. Yeah. And then when they hit our lot, then we just have to make sure that they get wrapped. We get all of our safety equipment in the vehicles. We install our dash cam systems, our GPS, fuel tags, insurance card, our normal stuff that we have to do in order to get our vehicles ready to be on the road.
How long does that upfit? Now you said most of it has upfit. Since we're I would say a standardized trade, it's pretty easy to know what the upfit looks
Correct.
like. But how long does it typically take from point when we identify a vehicle to where we get it on the road?
I'd say 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, well, that's not bad at all.
2 to 3 weeks, and then it just really depends. Like we just recently got 17 vehicles in. So that was a little bit tricky, but we managed to get them all on the road within 2 months.
Oh wow, yeah, your process there, it's not as if it just goes to one person, right? Yeah. So we've got if it's not upfitted, we've got a specific person for upfitting.
Correct.
They don't do the wrap.
Correct.
So we've got to get the wrap in. And then after all those kind of things are said and done, you've still got to get inventory in it.
Correct.
And everything else. So a two-week turnaround is pretty quick.
Yeah.
But having it to 3 to 4 weeks may not be outside of the realm of norm.
Correct.
So anything else outside of that that would be beneficial to share for a little bit of the other daily functions you do, whether that be emergency service or anything like that?
I'm typically on call 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Especially when there's bad weather, or potential ice on the road, I'm typically logged in and just checking on our drivers, make sure that they're safe. We've had a couple of situations where our after-hour drivers were driving and they were being held up in traffic for 2 to 3 hours. And if I know that, I will actually call them and let them know, hey, let's take a different route, just to make sure we make it to the customer's house in a safe and efficient way.
One of the things that you and the corporate leadership team did as well was make sure that we've got the proper provisions, right? We've got chains for the tires, and we make sure we get those rotated in for these seasons like this. And although
Correct.
Texas is not known for snow, we're definitely known for the ice, and I know
Yes.
you mentioned that. And part of that safety piece there is just to make sure we're doing that.
Correct.
So not only is it maintenance, it's making sure that the vehicles are prepared to be on the road,
Right.
In all seasons.
And then training our drivers.
Oh, big one.
Training our drivers is very, very important. All of our partners that come in, they are enrolled in our driving course, our safety driving course, within the first 6 weeks of employment. That's about a 6-hour course where we learn the safety, the 5 principles of safe driving. And then every other year, all of our partners are required to go through that course. And in addition to that, we, myself and or Tony, we will provide a 30-minute huddle every single month, safety huddle, to all of our divisions as well. So they are required to get at least 10 hours of training, fleet related, 10 hours a year.
Yeah, that is, I would say, one of the biggest pieces to kind of help connect, what we're doing in the field and how we're able to do it more safe. Defensive driving is super important, and knowing that you guys are putting that defensive driving on and then bringing it to the teams as a reminder every month is super important. So we could probably talk about fleet all day and the safeties of fleet and the importance of fleet. I think that the points you mentioned, highlighting and then ending with defensive driving is very valuable for sure. So Robin, I really appreciate you being on with us today to talk a little bit about fleet. I would love to have you come back and talk about anything else, whether it be culture of the company or maybe even more about fleet, because I know that there's lots more to talk about. But really appreciate you being in with us today.
Thank you.
So, folks, if you loved the video, please like it, please share it, and then please add comments. If you've got specific comments about what Robin and I talked about today, let us know what your questions might be. Or for future topics, we'd love to hear about it. Robin, like she said, is a wealth of knowledge. She's been here a long time. She's been in this industry for a long time. So if there's anything you'd like us to hear about, let us know. But again, we really appreciate you joining us for this episode and really can't wait to see you next time. So thank you guys, and we'll see you soon.